Well, our last topic for this unit on quadratics is aptly called the quadratic formula. So the first thing you want to do definitely is you want to go ahead and write down the formula over here. Looks maybe a little intimidating at first, but trust me, it's not that bad. It's x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And we say all over because it's everything on top divided by twice a. So in a moment, we will discuss what are a, b, and c. So first of all, why would you want to use this crazy formula over here? It looks like a lot going on over here. So let's go ahead and examine the problem itself here. X squared plus 5x plus 2 equals 0. Notice that it's solved for 0 here. That is super important that that's true. So let's go ahead and do it without the quadratic formula. Let's try to factor. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the box right here, factoring box. I'm going to go ahead and put x squared. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 right here. Make my diamond problem. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. I put my 5x over here, and then I start thinking, what multiplies to be 2 but adds up to be 5? So I'm thinking of 1 and 2. No, that doesn't work. And then I'm thinking negative 1 and negative 2. That doesn't work either. So this is not factorable, all right? So you cannot factor this. It's impossible. But the thing is, if you were to actually graph this, there actually are x-intercepts. So what the quadratic formula allows us to do is it allows us to find the x-intercepts or what x is equal to, even though it's not factorable. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So how does this a, b, and c stuff work over here? So it's actually really simple. The number in front of x squared, the coefficient we call it, is a 1. So a is equivalent to 1. The coefficient of x, that's the number in front of x, is 5. So that's what b is equal to. And finally, the last number over here is 2, and that's what c is. So that's a, b, and c. And remember, it must be solved for 0 first before going any further. So at this point right now, it's simply just a matter of going ahead and using the formula. So it's negative b, so the opposite of this is negative 5. So I'm going to say x equals negative 5 plus or minus, then we go to b squared. So what is 5 squared? Well, 5 times 5 is 25. So it's going to be the square root of 25, and then it's always minus 4 times a. So minus 4 times a, which is 1, and then times c, which is 2. Then it's all over 2 times a. So 2 times 1, because a is equal to 1. So this is the beginning here of actually plugging in the values here into our formula. So you can see here all the a's, b's, and c's they're just numbers. So now we go to the next phase, figuring out and simplifying everything we can here. So I'm going to get negative 5, nothing happens there, plus or minus, bottom 2 times 1 is just 2. So right now, I want you to grab your calculator and see if you can figure this out. 25 minus 4 times 1 times 2. All right, while you do that, I'm going to go grab my calculator, boom, and I'm going to do literally 25 minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 2. And if you notice here, I'm not going to press equals to the very end, and I press it now and I get a 17. So how much is this over here? It's 17. So be careful when you do this. Don't press equals as you go along. Press it at the end like I just did. All right, so now that we have that, I'm going to use this space over here. We actually have two answers. One of them is negative 5 plus the square root of 17. Oops, I put the minus there again. My bad. We're going to subtract that out. So let me try that again here. So I'm going to go negative 5 plus the square root of 17 all over 2. The other one is negative 5 minus the square root of 17, like my square root there, all over 2. So we've got two answers here. So a couple of thoughts here. If you want to do it on one line, you simply can go ahead and put parentheses here. So they're kind of invisible, but you should put them in. Same thing over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first one here. Use my calculator again, pull that sucker up here. Here it is. So I am going to go ahead and do parentheses, negative 5 plus square root, there's my square root symbol, 17. Got to go ahead and get out of the square root now. I'm going to go ahead and end my parentheses. So notice how everything on top has parentheses around it. Then I'm going to press divide by 2. So this is my first answer. And I can round off to negative 0.44. Now, or if I want, I can not use the parentheses. So I'm going to try it this way here. So I get negative 5 and then plus square root 17. Then I have to press enter now though, so that takes the answer for the top, and then now we divide by 2, and we get the exact same answer. So it depends how you want to work this here. So the first answer is, if we round off to 2 places, negative 0.44. So why don't you go ahead and try the other one over here and see if you get the same answer as me. So ready, 1, 2, 3, go. All right, now that you've tried that, the answer you should have gotten is negative 0.456. So if you're not getting that, you're having calculator issues here. So you need to figure out what's going on here and fix yourself. So finally, now that we have these two answers, that's great. That's what x is. But also remember, this tells us where the x-intercepts are. So where are the x-intercepts? They are at negative 0.44, comma 0. Where's the other x-intercept? Negative 0.456, comma 0. So once again, just to recap here, why quadratic formula? What is it helpful for? When we can't factor, then that's when we're going to be using the quadratic formula, and it tells us the answers, which are going to be decimal answers here. All right, so that's it. Last idea, done.